Let me introduce Kai Liang, Director of Business Development at Mel Science, co-founder of Smart Stone Technology. There's more. He's also a co-founder for Education Institute. His websites, one of which is smartstonevr.com. It's a platform for future education solutions. That's absolutely intriguing. Smarter, better, and easier. And the other one is Mel Chemistry. So with that, Kai Liang, I am just curious, but thrill us, entice us, tease us with a story. Kai Liang, welcome.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Rocky. I would love to introduce all about me, but as Rocky rightly pointed out, I am a serial entrepreneur, which means that I have my fingers, my hands in many pockets. But perhaps the most well-known responsibility to the big wide world is my responsibility as a business development director of MER Science. We call it MER Science. Here, MER stands for More Efficient Learning. So I just want to give a quick introduction of MER Science. So quickly, MER Science is a London-based team, but we have office in St. Petersburg, and we also have office in Shanghai. So we offer hands-on science experiment and virtual reality experiences, basically to get children very interested in learning, and also we engage parents to actually join up with learning. There are lots of information on this page, but I will just focus on the highlight. And I prepared a little video for you. It's very entertaining video. It lasts about 2 minutes. Can you hear the sound, please? I hope so.
There, we got the sound. Good.
Perfect. Enjoy this. My son did the video, by the way. He's 11 years old. So there you go. That's a very entertaining video, and my son edited that video from a range of MER Science product as well as videos that we do and we created and we spread to the global community. There are a mission statement. Education as we know it today or in the past are really the kind of like education that is created for the system in the past, where we have essentially a industrial-based economy. But into the future, we are moving to a creator economy, We're moving into the world that artificial intelligence and longevity and a range of other exciting technologies is going to have a huge impact for the economy and jobs our children will grow into. Therefore, it's natural that education needs to update, or be digitally enhanced to be able to create the talent of the future, to be able to play a part or add value to that. And I want to draw an example of a school in Netherlands. It's called Agora School. And in English, we want to call it Agora School, but I just spoke to the founder of the school this morning, and they're the Dutch team. So they told me that, Kai, we call it Agora School. So it is a school focused on learning but not teaching. The school does not have classrooms. It doesn't even have classes. It has no syllabus, and the school does not have exams. So what it is that the student would each have a mentor, and these students are 12 to 18 years old. So they have mentor, and they have project, and they each will have their own kind of workspace, and then they work in teams. They can come to have project, and they learn very much similar to the real life business world is similar too. It started about 6 years ago. Today it's at 12 schools in Netherlands, and they're having more. And they're also expanding into neighboring country of Belgium. So I'm working with them so that we can create different version of the school in China, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, and possibly in Thailand. And we're going to have some conversation with education institutions in UK as well. So it's publicly funded, and it does create children, which in my humble opinion will probably have better adaptability for tomorrow's creative economy. And the school almost look like a Google Science office. It's really interesting. So this is real. So education is changing. And as all of us have experienced parenthood, we will probably notice this, that we're very busy, and we used to be anyway. And but our children demand more engaging, more interesting, more attractive education content, and that is able to teach them things in a more efficient way, especially under the world that we can see that science and technology have a huge impact of economy and the way we live. And now we communicate through IT systems and computers that in a way that never been imagined possible 20 years ago. But this is the way it is, and it's changing. So with so much more science and technology coming, how can you be confident in the world of the future if you cannot learn in a more efficient way, so that you can absorb, you can be more value-adding to the science and technology-driven economy of tomorrow? There are all kinds of statistics to support that as well. And so in our company, our response is creating this wonderful experimental boxes. We have pictures here. We send each box to your home every month. So it's a trickle feed kind of learning experience. All these science experiments are designed by our scientists. We have more than 20 full-time scientists. And I mean, you'll probably notice that the school syllabus for chemistry has not changed for the last 30 or 40 years. That's obviously not good enough, because the chemistry is having so much more impact of the way we live today and tomorrow. So with all these hands-on science experiments that actually engage parents as well, children will become naturally really, really interested in science, and they suddenly realize, oh, science is actually pretty cool and pretty safe, and they can do it. And so the question they're going to ask is, what is happening? Why? In order to explain what's happening behind all these chemistry experiments, we utilize virtual reality so that you can shrink yourself to the size of atom and electrons, so you can see what's going on, and you can interact with a microprocess behind all this science theory. And the lessons are actually very high quality, and it's generated with a unique set of technologies that we developed. It's called quantum level simulation engine. So it's really to simulate the quantum equation, so we can model exactly what's happening between two particles and the attraction force, the repulsion force, the amount of energy released or absorbed during the chemistry reaction. We write this all into a quantum level simulation engine, and then we develop a scripting language so that it's easier to create lessons on top of it. So that is one of our core technical asset. It's also set us way above any other competitor we have internationally. And we hit the big market. And the market for science education is very, very significant. And on the right side of the screen, I listed the 60 plus countries we currently distribute our B2C product to. And I listed the core team to make this happen. And Dr. Vasily Filipov is the original founder of the company. He has 2 successful exits of software company. And so therefore, all the software created by Mao Science is of extremely high quality. It's worthwhile to notice that Vasily used to be a gold medal winner of Russian physics Olympiad and programming Olympiad. So he's really smart, and he's a PhD in mathematics. And Sergei, the other co-founder, he used to be the winner of chemistry Olympiad globally. I used to be the champion of Chinese biology Olympiad, and so the entire team of science of Mao Science are really passionate science lover. When we used to be kid, I didn't grow up to be a science PhD. We have 20 of them in the company. That's why we designed a lot of original content, and we have a really good CFO who has global experience as well. And the head of partnership, my partner at Stockwell, he also have a range of entrepreneurs experiencing in education industry. For myself, I'm more of a technologist, but I'm learning how to be an educator as well. So this is our team. So it's a very interesting mix of strengths and weaknesses, but we kind of really work well together. And the result for B2C traction is very high. So as you can see that we have average compound growth of more than 100% year by year. 2020, we did more than 22 million of revenue, and we're cash flow positive for product. But of course, we're making more investment in Mao biology, in Mao medicine, and Mao spaces. So therefore, the overall, the company will cash flow negative. And I helped the company to close a lot of huge B2B partners, such as China Mobile and GrowLab, etc., etc., and Mass Science, which is a Canadian company. So we're going global. So we suppose B2C and B2B. So B2B, we supply our contents to all these fantastic brands. And we also track the learning outcome, because as an education company, I will not dive into detail here, because I noticed that most of people are not educators. So, but we do actually provide evidence-based learning traction, and we support some research on how to conduct education more efficiently globally as well. So I helped the company to conclude 14 million pounds of Series B funding that was eventually announced in December last year. I'm currently warming up the round C with a bunch of investors in the East, because I like to take the company to an IPO path from Hong Kong as well as Singapore. I want to make sure we have that choice, and we are really highly regarded globally in all the leading science journals, and some of the Mao Science video we produce has been viewed more than 1 billion times, and counting still. And we also won a lot of awards. The most important education show in Europe is a British Education Trade and Technology Show. So we're the Innovator of the Year last year. We're also the kind of the winner of the VR and AR solution of the US Leading Education Technology Awards. And I also won the Adventure GBA Fellowship as the highest potential impact for Mao Science last year. And interestingly, we also voted Amazon's best subscription boxes for Valentine's Day. That is concluded a short while ago. Even though for some of us, we like to have Valentine's Day every day. Why not? So we have a lot of recognition internationally. And then in the future, we're going to have a lot of growth. perhaps the largest growth is going to come from the market of China and Asia, which I am leading personally. And so that challenge for the company is that we need to transition from a B2C business, which we're making good money, and the whole company is well structured to support. I want to transition this to a B2B and B2G dominated model, because education, as we know, is still largely a state-sponsored activity in most of countries in the world. And I want that to be honored. And perhaps it's easy for me to do so from China, because nobody else knows China. And I'm the only real Chinese in the company, even though my nationality is a Brit. I still need a visa when I go to China. But of course, China is a bit of a mystery cloud. And in China, the government control everything. There's no democracy. It's totalitarian rules. Yeah. So it's easier for me to do that in China and conclude a number of deals. But truly, I need to take the whole company's ethos into a B2B and a B2G supported company. That's not easy, because I need to take the whole company through that transition. And of course, I know China, that's easy, but I cannot claim to be an expert of UK or Europe or US education system. To convince other directors of companies to go down this route, it's not so easy. And so that's my number one challenge. Yeah. At the moment, our business in US is predominantly B2C business. So people just come to Mel Science website and they just put their credit card there and they get the box being sent to them, and they have access to all the other free content we make, and the virtual reality content free of charge. I'm not satisfied with this. I'm aware that US is probably the best country in the world with home-based learning. And I hope that there are institutions supporting majority of the kind of like home educators. And also I want to make sure that we support basically regionalize the education distributors with our product and content, such as there are lots of science camps, and I want to make sure that we can support them. So that's the example of I want to take this the business model from B2C, so we deliver it directly to the door of the family, to us actually distribute the product to channels, who then in turn look after the family. Because look, we don't have any employees in US, right? And there's a significant amount of time difference between us and different states in US. And despite the fact that we all speak English, but the culture in US and UK is still quite different. So yeah, I'm looking for some collaborators in US who can provide that ground level support. And the Mouth Science is just happy to support them with our product. And we can, when the order exceeds a certain amount, I can even do the joint branding with them to protect their interest. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question, John.
Yeah, thank you. I think a strategic partnership in the U.S. would benefit you greatly. I don't know the answer on that, but I'll put on my thinking cap.
I definitely agree with you, and it needs to be state specific as well, because U.S. is actually, they have different legislation. You have different legislation in different states, and in fact, every city is quite unique. Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm certain that at the moment. Interesting. I was invited to give a speech in the Wellington Education Festival last year, but pandemic just ruled out all of it. So I am now appearing in US in a range of online speech, which is not good enough. Ultimately, people still trust the face and the people who they can drive up to see. Yeah. It's quite fascinating that I actually appeared on the television of Pakistan about 3 months ago, and then I was invited to deliver a quick speech there. And then amazingly, after that, the founder of 3 cable channels in Pakistan reached out to me. So we discussed the possibility of creating a science education channel. In addition to have this the boxes being made available to young people of Pakistan, so that they can learn science, they can share their learning, and there will be a channel devoted on internet specifically for their experience in science. And so regularly scientists can be invited to give a bit of an interview to encourage more people to explore science. So that solution was exactly what you just described. but only changing the country from Pakistan to US. I'm also pleased to share with you that I'm also creating a program that is very similar to a program called All of Code. So All of Code is an activity started by, I believe, a US-based non-profitable organization to get children to experience 1 hour of coding. And President Obama was a big supporter of it. It started about 8 years ago. Up to now, it's enabled 1 billion children to actually experience some sort of IT literacy already. So I created a new company called All of Science. It's meant to be a social enterprise. So I created almost like an entrepreneurship from Miles Science, so that everybody can enjoy 1 hour of science education and to be able to share their experience on internet and on TV. So I was recently also interviewed by a Taiwanese TV station, but not in Taiwan, but in US. So they have a US part of this Taiwanese TV station to actually look after all the Taiwanese American. So so we are discussing the partnerships. You're absolutely right. So and last but not least, your idea is right. So our last round of investment, the round B, the $40 million, a part of it was provided by a UK TV station called Channel 4. So Channel 4 Ventures actually invested in Miles Science to actually help science to be made available through to the TV audience. And so, Jerry, you're spot on the strategy. So I only wish that I can talk with more TV stations or TV channels, and especially if they have internet contents. So as we know that models like Netflix are having a huge kind of a challenge on the traditional TV infrastructure. So I think I do hope that cable TV need to be more innovative in terms of the outreach to the customer, not only just on screen but off screen, perhaps with some home-based experimental kit and with some organization of science camps, or even art camps or music camps. The education shouldn't just focus on science. The reason I like science a lot is because science will cut through any kind of like culture or political divide. Everybody needs to learn science. In front of science, everybody is equal. And when you go to music, when you go to culture, then sometimes there are political divide into it. So I hate that. That complicates things. For science, yes, the US NGSS is probably the most widely regarded the best system or syllabus around the world. So here there's no divide. Everybody is the same. So you're absolutely right, Jerry. I agree with your idea. Thank you, because we are very much an extracurricular program designed by a range of scientists, and that is very engaging, and it really helps the children to actually love study, love science, love to ignite their curiosity, so that they develop their critical thinking, teamwork, and the ability to share all sorts of benefit. And actually, interestingly, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, there's a PhD student actually published a new research paper to prove that there are benefits using Miles Science VR to improve the exam score of K-12 students. Now, we are actually developing, in order to fulfill this transition to B2B and B2G, we employed a new director of curriculum. So it's a very handsome, bold gentleman called Daniel Sullivan. So he is now designing a kind of a male curriculum to actually support NGSS curriculum. And we call the new product called Miles Scholar, so that in the future, we can actually issue some sort of certificate. And in addition, the current program, as you see from our website, is still learning-based program. So we are going to create more product based on to support the creation. So people can actually do their own research using science, not just chemistry, but other disciplines as well. So that hopefully what we want to do is that in the future, when people go into an Ivy League university, so they say, okay, what's your exam score? Okay, your exam score is kind of okay. So tell me something you've done that is interesting. And they can just put a mobile phone in front of the interviewer, and then it projects this holographic journey that he or she has done in science, all these fantastic experiment they have done, and then some research paper they have created in a AR and holographic manner. So I'm sure the technology will take us there within 3 or 4 years. Trust me, it will get there. Or otherwise, I'll give you a VR glasses. You put the glasses on, it's almost similar to the Mission Impossible movie. You remember Tom Cruise just like get his magic glasses, he put in, and he sees all this mission he needs to do, and then the glass will self-destruct. Yeah, so we'll make sure that in the future, glasses do not self-destruct, but you can just get that digitally enhanced, super cool certification. So that is a mild certification, and that will get you anywhere. Yeah. So if you can create something as cool as that, I mean, hey, you got to be there, yes? So the last but not least, what I want to say is that we are all kids, right? I mean, we want to support lifelong learning. So if I ask a question, who in the audience can explain to me what this quantum physics is all about? Who understands the kind of how NFT work, the non-fungible token? Yeah. So we are all lifelong learners, right? But to be able to learn from a bunch of text and the screen on the screen, all the graphic on the screen, is hard, right? We want to learn from engageable, interactive VR and AR. So that's what I want to do. So not just science for kids, we also want to support lifelong learning, so that within about 5 minutes we can learn how exactly what is all this, how to create vaccine, and how vaccine can be more effective, and what do we need to do. So all this learning for important science or technology related subject that actually impact all of us. So I'm working with a lifelong learning lab in China to specifically just to support that, so that we don't forget all this interesting science that we learned when we were a kid. It's kind of help us to engage, to connect with the world we live. So yeah, there you go. It's a bit of learning for us all. So hopefully in the future we can provide a certification. So it's Rocky's program on science learning. I actually just need to find the collaborators in various countries, and in terms of investors, I'm looking for investor who is passionate for education reforming, and who is prepared to accept the core value of Mount Science, who would like to join the next round of investment. Our estimate probably going to be in the region of 30 to 50 million US dollar. And so I'm looking for about 5 or 6 investors to fulfill that, and as a continuation. So Mount Science delivered outstanding value to investors consistently over the last 4 years. But of course, as we go further, we want to really to find the right investor who can take us through this transition from B2B to from B2C to B2B and B2G, and also to go through that towards that lifelong learning mission. And also to help us with kind of like a IPO path on a global basis. So yeah, looking for investors and looking for collaborators who is passionate about education, and also to look for other people, whoever you are, who has different ideas of what we can do with the team and with the product form we have. And we don't have to talk business all the time. We can just have a bit of a laugh and just say, all right, so let's do something interesting, yeah? It's Friday evening in UK. It's Friday morning, so we're heading towards a bank holiday Monday. So let's have fun. Let's be relaxing. I mean, think about other things we could do in similar way to help us learn things. And yeah, education is great. It's beautiful. 95% of the content Mount Science does, we make it freely available to the worldwide community. By the way, we only charge for less than 5% of the product we make. Our content is very linked to the AI-driven education. We also designed our own electronic telescope as a part of Mount Biology that we have not released. And that have our own created algorithm with AI recognition and also the 3D scanning. So it's fascinating. So it's a bit of ultra secret at the moment, but I can tell you that much. And we're going to make them in volume, and possibly later this year or beginning of next year. So yeah, we'll absolutely love to contribute to enrich any curriculum of the AI enabled education solutions. And it'd be nice to meet more friends as well, because I'm personally very fascinated about artificial intelligence. I think there will be a lot of ongoing discussion. I also hope that I can help. I can deliver value to what you are doing, given my experience and my reach, and also my understanding of technology. I want to help others as well, under the banner of Rocky. So there you go. I'm part of your family.